That's
about
right.
college
Who
football.
am I? Who am I to step in on you guys? But
Right.
anyhow, let's get the show started. Here we go.
Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
Andy, hey, welcome back, Steelers Nation, Steelers fans everywhere, to another edition of Steelers Realm Podcast, joined by my crew tonight, my man, the famous TA, joining us, and also TA. How are you, buddy?
Hey, JT. I'm pretty good, buddy. I got a little pep in the step today. It's not that
Sure.
normal manic Monday.
Yeah, we certainly do. And also joining us tonight, our man Shane Mann in the house. And shout out to Freight Train. Hope you're feeling better, man. Couldn't make it tonight. So, but anyhow,
Come on, JT.
he sends his regards.
Don't go lying to him on air. You know he's kicked back right now in the recliner. 20 kids massaging his toes with a big bowl of popcorn and M&Ms watching the national championship game. He ain't fooling nobody. He ain't sick. I know what's going on.
Too busy. All that rooting for the Steelers all year long, and he has our final victory Monday, final one before we head into the playoffs, which we're going. Yay, we'll get all into that. Hey, man, listen, look who has showed up here tonight. What's up, buddy? Steelers Nation Australia in the house. How about it? My man Chris. And also, here we go. Steelers Nation Australia in the house with us. Good to see you,
That's
buddy.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, nice to see
Down under.
Yeah,
Give him a
you
little
too, Chris. Yep, he's up early for this show.
Yeah,
What's the time?
right?
What's
I
the
don't know
time
what the
difference?
time is there. I forget right now.
Yeah, I forget.
I think it's like a 12-hour difference. Is it close to 12 hours or something like that?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. It's certainly something.
It is. But, dude, I bet you were loving that. Oh, you got the day off. Good.
There you go.
Nice.
Lunchtime. Okay. So,
Lunchtime.
gotcha. All right.
Nice.
Great.
Well, thanks for joining us, brother. We're excited.
Absolutely. Now I got a question. Did he take the day off because he watched the game this weekend? Is that what the deal is?
Jeremiah.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Maybe.
In a minute. What's this?
Maybe he was up. He was up late recovering from staying up late for that game. Yoder.
There you go. Yoder.
Buddy Jeremiah, doing it, buddy. We were doing all right, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, man. So an exciting victory Monday. We put it to the Ravens. We got 5-1 in the division, guys. That's crazy. And we still needed some help because of a couple stupid games that we probably should have won. We all know the story. Yeah.
Unfortunately, but this is we got it done. It ultimately worked out. And I predicted the Titans were going to beat the Jaguars, and they did, luckily, because the Dolphins did us no favors. So that was definitely a game that I expected that to be the case for that game. So I'm glad Titans tightened up for us, gotten it done. Jaguars, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit. They messed up, even in a win against us earlier this year. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Yep, Chris, we love to beat those dirty birds too, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, so how about that? I mean, I thought that too. I thought of the games that we had a chance to get some help from. That might be the one. I know I heard a lot of mumblings through the week about having the Titans ready to play, and he was pretty up for this game.
Yeah.
So good for him. You
Well,
know?
good for him, but it was your buddy who helped save the day, JT.
Oh, yeah, about that. How about that? Comes full circle, huh?
See, what comes around goes around, JT.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, like one of my nemesis for years was Terrell Edmonds. And, he moves on and ends up helping us get into the playoffs. How about that? The gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. Hey, it's crazy because if you're the Jaguars right now, like I don't even know how you feel because to only have to beat a 5-win team with technically without their starting quarterback because they replaced Tannehill with Levis and having to play that team that's you've had so much trouble with throughout the years. You thought maybe this is the year that we can get through them to win the division, and you just can't get it done. And it's really got to suck for those guys.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's give us our high level instant reactions now, almost 24 hours later or 36 hours later, whatever the hell it is. But Shane, you're first on the list, man. Instant reactions from the game. Was it what you expected, or?
I mean, as far as the Steelers-Ravens game, it was closer than I was hoping it was going to be. They definitely had to pull out some stuff at the end there with the Deontay catch and run. And, those are the plays that, to Mason's credit, he's been making so far whenever he's come in. Is he hasn't always been throwing it all the way down the field to get these big plays, but he's putting it in the right spot, making the right reads. And honestly, that's what you need in this offense because it's hard to do much outside of that because it's not really built to create a lot of plays out of structure. So glad we got that done. It was definitely harder than it should have been. And of course, the biggest thing that we'll have to talk about is the injury to TJ. You can tell if you saw earlier my little headline, take my MCL if he needs it. I don't know if it'd be much better than his torn one or messed up one, but he can have it if he wants it.
Can have it.
If he can have it if he wants it. But outside of the TJ injury, we got it done, got some help, and now we get to see if we can go into Buffalo and make something happen.
Yeah, TA, how were you digging on that now?
Man, I kind of went into this game with a whole different thought process, which was basically there's no way you can lose this game. If you lose this game, all of this is for naught. All of it's for naught. I mean, this was a gift that was handed to you. But then it was like 3/4 of the way after the announcers, and it didn't seem like anybody was giving the Steelers much hope to win this game either. It just didn't feel that way.
Wasn't going our way there for a while.
Yeah. But what I loved the most was I think it was about third quarter, but no, I think it was the beginning of the fourth quarter there or middle of the fourth quarter where Riddick and the guys that were all talking. It's like, well, Harbaugh happened to mention this. This is the way the Steelers are, they'll law you to death and they'll nickel and dime you all day. And then, just keep it real close. And then they'll give that one big play that'll just go ahead and open a game wide open. And before you know it, you're chasing them for the rest of the time out there to try to win. And it's exactly what happened here today, folks. And I'm like, really? Is that what Harbaugh said? Are we making this up? Or you just don't have nothing to talk about at this point in time. So to me, I'm just glad we won it in the rain, and Freight Train's not even here to talk about slopping around in the rain like most Pigleys do.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts were going into the start of that game, I was like, are we going to have another football gate here? Like a greased football gate going on here?
Yeah,
tossing things. Everybody
they didn't nobody wanted the ball, JT. They're like, I don't want you have it. Take it. It's insane.
Yeah. The greased pigskin.
Yeah, it's crazy.
On that first possession. But hey, we finally got somebody rubbed off the slick and got it going. The run game, tough as it was. And, Mason made the plays. He didn't have that final letdown TA was looking for and expecting. And, kept delivering, man. And then, hey, Daniel, thanks for tuning in. Victory, no doubt. But, the running game and just doing it when you needed to do it. Big plays, third down conversions, Deontay, a big one. I mean, and, everybody contributed. How about my man Rowe punching that ball out? I mean, look at the guys that stepped up. And it gets a little bit better. Now, the TJ thing hurts, no doubt. TJ thing hurts, but, with Minka, and KZ coming back in. They're going to be a little rusty though, but that'll help solidify the backfield, maybe take a little pressure off, since we're not going to have the kind of pass rush we would with both sides going. But yeah, I thought it was a great win. I was happy for Mason and team. Najee got his 1,000 yards. He ran like a man possessed these last 4 weeks or so, and kudos to him for that, man. It was great to see him running like we all knew he could. But earlier in this game, there was talk like, is this guy a bust? He's just running in the back of people and falling down. But yeah. So playoff bound, baby. Playoff bound. Here we go. Any given Sunday, man, like they say.
I saw someone just mentioned fresh. Golden and Herbig are both fresh with low snaps. That is something to consider. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a little bit.
That is so true. That is so true. And then Mark, we'll get into
the elephant.
We'll get into the towel. We'll get into the towel thing also too. Yeah, and TJ got his 19. Daniel. Yep.
Leads league in sacks for third time. First guy to do it. Oh, at least since the merger and since sacks were recorded appropriately. Because Deacon Jones definitely did it. It's just they didn't count it at the time.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me about that is they know Deacon Jones got it. Why not just go ahead and go back?
They should have.
You've got plenty of people that are scouring all these old NFL films. Why not just go back and
actually, Pro Football Reference actually they did track sacks going back to I think like the 50s or something, and I think Deacon's got 100 and something or whatever it is. Like they have their leaderboards, I think, based on that. So that's even how we know that he did it. I think it was 5 times he ended up doing it when he was a Ram. So like that was cool to see.
He did do it 5 times, but not 3 years in a row. No, he did do it 3 years in a row. TJ did not do it 3 years in a row.
1 year off, and when he missed time last year, yeah. So.
Yeah. Hey, Steelers freak. Thought Henry would ball, make fresh tape for the next contract. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
no doubt, and he did, dude. He was.
He's a Jaguar killer. He always has been.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jaguar killer, let's talk about what we think may have contributed to the death of the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, don't mess with the towel. When you gonna learn? Don't mess with the towel.
So easy to just not like. It's one of those things where like no matter how superstitious you might be, whether you believe in stuff like this or not, it's just don't do it because even if it has nothing to do with it, we'll never obviously know that type of stuff. Everyone can come back and look at you and point and laugh when this happens. Like you set yourself up for this. You didn't have to do that. Obviously, maybe it doesn't make a difference whether they do it or not, but now that it did make a difference, at least it looks like it, now people are going to be talking about it.
Well, it's not only people are talking about it, but even their own rag, the black and teal, are like, really? They disrespected the towel in week 7, and can you believe it? The curse and jinxes, this one came back to haunt them. I mean, so they now are like, you idiots, you were in the playoffs. You were number 4 seed. And you had to go and lose it to the team, by the way. You disrespected.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what makes this even more folklore than anything else in between.
Oh, yeah.
Out of all of them, this one here is the one that takes the cake, I think, for all the curses. In my humble opinion.
It was a big one, that Hujmanzada one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
I just saw him on a sports talk show not too long ago.
I think does he go on Coward's show sometime?
Maybe.
I think it's his show he goes on sometimes.
Yeah. Daniel said Myron Cope was straight reach down and bitch slap you.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to mess with it. Just don't.
Yeah.
It's an easy thing to just even again, no matter how you feel about like superstitious or whether you believe in stuff like that, like it's very easy to just not do stuff like that. Right. Like don't mess with fate. Don't play games with that stuff, man.
Yeah, and Mark just posted here too. They from 8-3, starting out like that to ending up 9-8.
Yeah, Lawrence gets injured a bunch of times. Probably part of why he didn't play well is he played injured in his last game. Like he kept getting banged up. Like everything fell apart for them after that 8-3 start.
Yeah, so there you go. Just mark that down in the history books. Another one. Steelers freak in. I think the players remember what was written and said about them individually, the team and the coach, and thinks that players want to make a statement to everyone, not just on the 53-man roster. Well, they certainly did, man. And, you know, can you give credit to Mason for rallying this team in a way?
I think so. I think the biggest thing, and this is why, and I had to go, like, when we went through the Kenny injury and whenever Trubisky came in, I immediately was like, Mason has to come in. Like, just from even what we saw at the Cardinals game, like, Mitch just isn't going to run this offense well. He just isn't. He's going to eventually decide that he wants to throw the ball somewhere it doesn't need to be thrown. And it's going to happen. Like, I know it. We know this at this point about him. And we can't afford it with this offense. Like, it's hard enough to – now, granted, we scored a good amount of points with him the last 3 games, but it's hard enough to score points with this offense when you run it well, let alone when you're throwing the ball the other team 2 times a game. So,
yeah, right.
It's just, however much stock you put into Mason's performance is up to you. And I think there's good arguments on both sides of that. But there's no argument that he was the right quarterback to play, especially after Kenny got hurt. And even now with how he's kind of playing, I totally understand why he's still the quarterback right now. So.
Oh, yeah. He's shown it.
Yeah.
He's shown it. We've seen a lot of growth in this team, really.
Mm-hmm.
Freight Train not here to brag up Joey Porter Jr., but, we're seeing a lot of growth in this team and, especially in George Pickens. With, he didn't get a ball thrown once to him, did he?
Nope, not even targeted.
Nope, no targets.
His only contribution of the day was a 3-yard run to get us a first down. Yeah,
the only time he was on the stat sheet was that revert or that sweep that got us the first down late in the game. Yeah.
Yep, and we needed it at that point in time.
Yeah, we did. So,
and I mean, kudos to GP, man. I mean, here's a kid that, let's face it, just weeks ago, everybody was talking about how immature he was, how he was a troublemaker coming out of college, how, things are going bad. I mean, you couldn't have read enough negative stuff about George. Now, all of a sudden here, we're ready to give him the key to the city again because he's back where he needs to be. I mean, when do we as fans, critics, media take a scenario for what it is and not try to create more out of it?
I mean, that's the way media is, man, right? I mean, that's everywhere, unfortunately. We have to try to find something to talk about sometimes. And I think the thing with Pickens that was easy to kind of not think about, and I think it's the case for a lot of these guys that are the top picks in their classes, a lot of these guys don't really know what it's like to lose. Like, Pickens played for Georgia, who's been the most dominant program over the past 4 or 5 years total in terms of winning percentage, and obviously the 2 national titles now. Only one of them while he was around, but still, like, for him to go into a league now where, one, the players are really good. You're not always going to be the guy that's the best player on the field. He's not always going to be able to get 10 targets and 100 yards and stuff. Like, he's a young player. Like, he has to get used to that. And I think when you win, it takes away a lot of the issues with him, because obviously the 3 games that we've won in a row, 2 of them, he was the biggest star of the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
But in this one, even though he wasn't, we didn't see him upset. We didn't see any issues with that because he knew, like, I'm getting double teamed. I've had 300 yards in the past 2 games. Of course, no one wants me to catch the football on this team. Like, it doesn't matter. It's the backups. Like, we're not going to force the ball to me. And I think he understands that with the right context. Now, when he just wasn't getting the ball just because he wasn't getting the ball and the offense was bad, like, I understand him getting frustrated. Now he understands why he might not be getting the football is just because of how he's being played and not because the offense isn't going through.
So do you think this helps him moving forward, and that this is the last time we'll see an act of attrition from him, that now he understands the highs and lows of the NFL, and it really truly is a team sport, and you have to do it together if you want to achieve the ultimate goal?
Yeah, growth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'll see much less of it. If we see any of it, it would be because maybe if they don't make the right decisions offensively moving forward again, or if we get back to some of the issues we had this year before the last few weeks of the season, then yeah, you might still see some. I don't think it's going to be that bad as it was earlier.
Steelers freak said they fed him like an anaconda. The previous 3 games, he was still full. Yeah. Hey, Jared Devil, thanks for tuning in, man. Didn't get a chance to say hello out there, but hey, thanks for joining us. We get the fans from down under with us tonight, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, for TA, you were about to get into the elephant in the room. So why don't we just do that? Let's talk about TJ getting taken out by friendly fire, that leg whip, to, I'm still it's Southern Cal. Okay. Still grade 2 sprained MCL. We all know the record without him in the lineup, and it wasn't very pretty.
And here's the thing, and you're right, it's not very pretty. I think it's like 1 game to
One,
13.
we're 1 in 10 in games he doesn't
1 in
play
10
since he got in the league.
Right. So, that in itself is not a warm, welcoming sight. But I think this team's a little bit different. It's built a little bit different. It's came back from a lot of adversity. It's had a lot of moving parts on defense. My only thing about when I watch that play, I'm thinking, first of all, you got TJ back in zone coverage.
Yes.
You've got the corner, which I think was Sullivan, back there in zone coverage. And you brought Martravius Adams off the line back in zone coverage, and they're all 3 in the same zone. That's not zone. You're supposed to be spread out to defend to make a zone, not all merge on the zone. And when I seen that hit, I couldn't help thinking to myself, what dumbass call was you thinking to make this happen? Why?
Yeah.
Especially in the rain. I mean, and that was the biggest thing. We had played such a great game up until then in the rain. And then it was just one asinine call.
Medicavage revenge.
Yeah. Good point,
Tyler.
Mark.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Tia. Like, I understand. Like, I really think, like, in that case, like, Adams is flowing towards the ball. Obviously, he's trying to do that, but like,
trying to make
it's still like you don't want him being the guy that's moving around and any sort of like you don't want him backpedaling. Obviously, you don't want him trying to shadow anybody. He's not that type of player. It was a weird call. We know that they tend to do weird stuff with their defenders with zones sometimes, and TJ obviously is really good at it. But obviously, rather see him rushing the passer. But it's just one of those freak plays. And obviously it sucks. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm okay with TJ being out because that's just would be ridiculous. But I do think your point about this team being a little bit different. I think this is the best equipped they've ever been to handle a TJ injury. I don't know if that means that it will matter or if it'll change the result, but I do think it's the best chance they've had to replace him and not completely fall off production wise from the pass rush position.
Well, you got Herbig.
Yes.
It's like TJ Jr., in training wheels. I mean, who else? You get Miles Jack back.
Golden. It's going to be
Marcus Golden.
Yeah. That's my one concern.
And don't forget about K-Ron. So, and I'm going to ask you about your concern, Shane. So let me ask this. Because I've been sitting here thinking about this for the last 48 hours. Who do you want to see start? And who do you want to see rotate? Because I'm almost thinking I'd rather see Marcus start and Herbig rotate. However, Marcus may be the better starter and keep the young kid fresh late in the game to really wreak havoc. So I'm still torn between that. You follow what I'm saying?
No, yeah. So here's I'll get specifically. So it's not so much about I don't really care so much who starts the game. I think it's about the situations that those two play. I think early downs and downs where you expect to see the run, I do think Golden is the best fit to be there. He's very stout for his size. I think he's a better run defender, especially this early in his career. Herbig can make splash plays as a run defender, but I don't think he's ready to take guys on at the point of attack at this point. He is a smaller edge defender. I mean, even smaller than Golden, who's about 250 or so. So I think, again, like kind of what Steelers Nation Australia is saying, I think Golden should play a lot of the early down snaps, but Herbig does need to be on the field, I think, more overall because he gives you much more juice. You need somebody who can bend the edge and get around quickly. Because Allen is going to be able to escape the pocket on Golden. Like, he's just not that level of athlete to defend Allen. I think Herbig can. I think he can run him down if need be. So I do hope that they get similar level of snaps, but I would want to see Herbig be in there in those crucial, like, gotta have it downs because he just has the more juice to get to Allen on those situations.
See, and the only thing that I hope is that if you're going to play it situational, which I completely understand what you said, you've got to make sure you're disguising it to the best of your ability.
Yes.
So they do not take advantage of you on those insufficient downs, like a second down. I see Marcus Golden in there. Okay, I know they're bringing Herbig in on third down if we don't make this. So let's go for all the Gustus now. And we'll just keep Marcus on the field a little bit longer. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to disguise that.
I'd actually like to see them all play at the same time at times, him, Highsmith, and Golden, because I think you can do some fun stuff with those three together because they have to play it differently than they do with TJ. Because right now they pretty much just let him and Highsmith go out there and just they have their sides and they go for it.
Just crush the edges.
Yeah, you cannot ask these guys to replace that type of defense because it's great when you can just line up your four guys a lot of the time and let them get after it. That's not going to be the same way without TJ. So you have to get more creative. I don't know if I trust Austin to do that, but I'd love to see, for example, like Herbig line up over the center and just try to run him over or run past him. You know, Golden being the main edge rusher in those plays, like stuff like that. Because I think Herbig can move around and do some different stuff. But am I expecting to see it? Not really.
And you know what? And you bring up a good point. And to go ahead and to answer Australia, K-Ron Johnson is our number 4 as far as the outside linebacker goes.
Yeah.
I would even be okay of seeing Miles Jack slide in there at left outside linebacker and let Herbig sneak in the middle and see how the Buffalo Bills play that from an offensive standpoint, because nobody's seen that yet, right?
Fire blitzes, buddy. How about fire blitzes?
It would be fun.
Why not switch those linebackers up for this game?
Hey, Todd.
It'd be fun. I think ultimately, like you said, like there's a lot of stuff you can do to try to mitigate TJ being out. I just don't know what things, if any, Austin is going to do. That's kind of my main thing. Is I'm less concerned about the depth, obviously, than I've ever been. But if he tries to play Herbig or Golden like he plays TJ, it's probably not going to work. Let's just be honest. Like, it's just not going to be the same thing. You're not going to get the same benefits of doing that you would normally. They have to be creative. I think something you can do too is Herbig can replace some of the coverage drops that TJ shows. Coming off like as an edge, he does have this space movement, being able to do stuff like that. I mean, there's even talk about him maybe transitioning to inside linebacker coming out of Wisconsin because of his size. And I think that was viable because he showed that in college to be able to spot drop and do stuff like that. So they got to do something though.
So, and here's another thing. Let's even talk about this. JT, you've already talked about Eric Rowe and how this guy, as a late season addition, has just come on strong. He's been number 1, number 2.
It really was
leading tackler for 3 weeks in a row. I mean, this is him coming in and learning a completely different defense. You know, tie that in with Miles Jack doing almost the same exact thing. Now it looks like we're going to go ahead and we might have Minka back. We could definitely have Trenton Thompson back. And KZ has cleared his suspension. Now,
that's right.
I'm almost, I hate to say this, but I'm almost KZ. I'd rather see you sit out my brother and let Eric Rowe
play.
Let Rowe play. Let him continue to be a hot hand. And if we need somebody to come in and play that DJ off the side, why not put DeMonte KZ in there and let him come running in like they would have helped him?
I'm okay with it. I think the one thing I'll say is if you want to do traditional 2 safety looks, probably either Thompson or KZ is still the best bet because Rowe is a little bit older and doesn't have the same speed that those other guys have. But as far as like if he's playing up in the box, I definitely trust him more as a box player than any of the other guys. You know, Minka obviously too, but you can maybe keep him back there more like he was supposed to be if you have a guy like Eric Rowe in the box. So there's a lot of stuff they can do. I think having their full complement of defensive backs for the most part should help a lot. Peterson can go back into the slot now mostly. That'll be nice to have as well. Like, it should be better on the back end, and that's important too. But it does matter how they use these guys, because if they do put KZ in there and just sit Rowe, I do think you could run into some issues, especially against the run, because the Bills do want to run the football. They really do. So that's going to be important too.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. We'll be getting more into that coming up Thursday when we do our pregame playoff edition. And oh, by the way, I just reached out to Randy Fuller, and he said he's definitely going to try to get on. He said, I'll try for sure.
Awesome.
So I said, that's definitely cool, man. I can't wait to hear your take on the last several games and where we're heading. So, yeah, look for that Thursday night. If he can make it, he definitely will. I know he always tries when he can. So it'd be great to have him back on too. And then don't forget, guys, stop by our Steelers Nation local number 724 Facebook group. A lot of good stuff there. It's growing leaps and bounds every day in there. So make sure to stop by our Facebook group, as well as Twitter, Instagram, and SteelersRealm.com for links for everything. So what do you got going on the rest of the week, Shane, while we're doing some plugs here?
I should have either 2 shows this week, maybe one tomorrow, Wednesday, or at least our main Wednesday show on the Still Curtain podcast.
Okay.
If you check us out there, we're getting up there. I think we're close to 400 subscribers now. Our last video had like 400 views, so we're definitely heating up as the playoffs come along. So
nice.
We also have some shorts up that I think are pretty funny. If you guys check this, I would do the YouTube shorts. Our guys are making some pretty funny stuff in the lab there, so check that out.
That's cool. Yeah, we'll have to get out, share some of those.
Yeah,
with you guys as well too. So, thanks for the moment there. Got to get some plugs into. Hey, I also want to give a shout out to Camo. Camo kind of sponsors us in the background this year. Our contract just ran out, but I wanted to thank them personally for their shot. Camo, if you didn't see what it is, it gives you the ability to be able to use your cell phone camera as a webcam and do it remotely, wirelessly too. So it's pretty cool stuff, and it's got a lot of great control and effects and things on that too. So while we're getting plugs in, so again, we're going to get into a breakdown of the Bills versus Steelers for playoff week, or wild card playoff week next week, or this Sunday, I should say, this week. And our show will be Thursday night 9 as normal. Might even jump on a little bit early, but let's finish up with the breakdown of this, where we thought some highlights were, and just some good stuff that kind of sent us in this direction. And we can wrap it up taking a look at what our initial predictions were for the game. And I can tell you this: somebody nailed it right on the money. But yeah, so first quarter, man, we came out looking good, drove down the field, took a 7-0 lead. Now, this kind of pissed me off, and I think I remember, if this costs us the game, I'm going to be pissed, where they had a chance to put it was a long kick, but after they recovered a fumble, it became a mess then. And, they went into the end of the quarter. It was halftime. They let Baltimore drive on down the 28 yards, 25 minutes, marched down the field, scored, tied up before halftime. We stepped out at halftime. I came back in, and I missed that score. I just saw us getting the ball at the end, and I thought, well, maybe they ran out, or fourth down, they punted or whatever. But yeah. So anyhow, you guys go ahead and take it away. Third quarter thoughts. Fourth quarter thoughts. Wasn't much to third quarter, really was.
I want to say this, man. Hey, hats off to Godwin. I don't know if he got enough credit in this game, but I know I was in the garage watching with the boys, and that ball fell there on the 5-yard line. Everybody's running, pick it up, jump on it. What's he doing? And I'm like, stop. And then he goes, what? And he jumps on the ball, and I start, yes. And they're all like, they just stop, and they look at me. He's like, what are you talking? What? what?
They didn't know. They didn't
They
know.
didn't know. And then you seen the flag and they're like, that dumbass. I said, that dumbass just got us to the 45-yard line. And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's a kick out of bounds. I mean,
The anti-gunner play where he tried to do it and forgot that he wasn't a receiver on the play.
Well, he was reverse, if you
It was
remember.
reverse. It was reverse. Yeah, he thought he tried to do it and then he forgot he wasn't the receiver on the play.
Yeah, it was great toe drag.
Yeah, it was great if it was a catch. Yeah,
but he was going the other way.
yeah,
But
so
yeah,
funny.
that was crazy, man. Isn't that a weird rule, though?
It is weird, but I kind of like it because it's just a funny quirk that like doesn't come up very much, but when it does, it's fun. Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
did see some people complain about it. I'm like, it's a dumb rule. Like, if you take it out, I don't care, but it is kind of funny when it happens. So, I mean, nowadays guys kick it through the uprights half the time, so it's not a big deal. But it's fun. Yeah.
But I mean, initially too, I was like, "What the hell?" And he goes over and he's like positions himself and he lays down and lays on the ball with his
Hilarious.
feet out of
It's awesome.
bounds. It was
It's
great.
awesome.
Then the flag comes out and I'm like, wait, what? And then when then it dawned on me what he was doing there. It was fantastic. Sure. Good point, TA.
But no, that throw to Likely that they scored on that touchdown, that was where I was like, all right, I don't feel good right now because like if Tyler Huntley's getting this off, now Likely is a starter for them now with Andrews out. He's a very, very good player, but you don't want to see Huntley start to heat up and the backup quarterback magic start to happen, which we've seen that happen all year this year. And luckily that was kind of the most of it that they got. So
yeah, that was like the only one that they got down the seam.
Yeah, really.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh man, they're getting ready to open this up and exploit us. But you know what? I gotta say, having Miles Jack back has really, really helped in that middle of the field again. He's a little underrated for who he is. And you know what? You can't say enough either, too. I mean, how many more games does Landon Roberts have in him? I didn't expect him to come
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
thought he was done this year.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly Snow, what's going on? You recognize that name, TA? Huh? Do you recognize that name?
Yeah, she's got to jump on because she's that Josh Allen fan. You gotta watch that.
I know. Seeing so close to the lake up there, she's been drinking lake water up there.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she has. Hey, we're enemies this week, Kelly. So we're not giving you any more airtime. No, Kelly's a good girl. You know, if it wasn't this week, I'd say go Bills, but sorry, Kelly, can't do that.
Yeah, we can't root for him. We weren't really rooting for him last night either. But.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a good question. Would you guys have rather gone to Arrowhead or gone to Buffalo?
Oh, I'm okay with going. I was okay going either way. Everybody's like, well, "Do you care?" I'm like, no, because either way,
it's a tough. Make it happen. Yeah, it's a tough one either way. But like, I mean, I guess when you think about the way the Chiefs have played recently in their offense, I guess I'd rather play them because they might just screw it up for themselves more likely.
Yeah,
but it's still like, I mean, you're still playing Mahomes and Arrowhead. Like that's no matter what. Yeah, it was gonna be a tough matchup, but it was interesting to think about.
Yeah. Either way, I don't think it matters. What I really want to see in all reality is you know what? No, I'm going to save that for Thursday, guys. We're going to save that for Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. We got a lot to get in.
Some stuff for Thursday.
Right, Kelly, mark it down. Thursday night, 9 p.m.
That's when the gloves come off.
Yeah. So I know it's all fun.
But going back to the second quarter, guys, and this is something that I think we really need to tighten up a little bit. And look, I get it, man. It was raining, it was sloppy. And you know, first and foremost, I want to give it to Mason. I mean, dude, he went 18 for 20 in a monsoon.
Yeah.
18 for 20 in a monsoon. My hat is off to him. Even though it was 152 yards, it was still 7.6 yards. That's still higher than our average with before he come in.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing was, outside of that end of half debacle where they couldn't hold on to the football and he kept fumbling and everything else, like he was pretty good most of the game. There really wasn't a lot of him messing up or anything. It was just kind of that one sequence that kicked things off in a direction I didn't like, but then we came back and figured it out. So,
but it wasn't necessarily him. as much as it was Dan Moore Jr.
Oh, Dan Moore got abused
Getting-
in that series.
yeah.
Just
and
destroyed.
And it wasn't only that series, but it was in the second half and in the fourth quarter as well too.
Mhm.
My question is at what point do you see that and not bring in Washington or Muth to help that right side, especially in a slot fest like that, to get that extra yard that you needed? I mean, it all worked out for us. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Todd Backo, you talk about Bill's self-sabotage. We almost sabotaged ourselves in this last game and didn't need to. And I hope that somebody's paying close attention to this.
Well, we certainly haven't as much in those last 4 games, though. I mean, if you look back at all of the Cincinnati games, they turned into the Browns. The Browns played us tough one game, I think. We killed ourselves in that game.
Yeah, we heard.
But
ourselves,
the Ravens, we turned them into the old Browns again, and the Browns, they had their troubles. So I like what Todd's saying there. Let the Bills self-sabotage, and he seems to think it's an easier matchup for the Steelers than Kansas City. I don't know. We never seem to fare well lately with
it's tough.
Mahomes Kansas City team.
It's true. It's tough either way because the Bills, the whole thing is their defense has played very, very well, but they are a very patchwork unit because of all the injuries, right? Whereas the Chiefs have a pretty healthy defense. Their offense just can't figure out how to play football half the time, right? So it's you're kind of taking either side of the coin. Ideally, the quarterback that's more likely to make mistakes is better to play against, but he's also the one that's been more successful as well in terms of creating big plays for his offense this year. So that's kind of a 50-50. It was going to be a pretty similar matchup regardless in terms of what needs to go right for us. So again, I'll take the Bills at this point. I understand that they're on a hot streak, but we'll see.
Plus, we're in the same time zone.
That helps. That does help.
Mm-hmm. No travel.
Just a little north.
Yep. That's all right. We played in 20 degrees, snowy weather before.
It does benefit us for sure to play in that type of weather. Because as good as Allen is as a runner himself, it does lend itself to the run game, and both run games are pretty good, but I'll take ours right now. So,
all right. So third quarter, we had a punt fest, guys.
Oh yeah,
that was ugly. When we backed up a couple possessions, we were backed up right to the edge.
Yes,
yeah. That third quarter was just nobody wanted to be there.
No.
But you want to know what I did here, which I thought was great? Did you guys catch the announcement that Pickens went ahead and grabbed a staffer to bring a heater for Mason to keep him warm while he was on the sideline?
Yes. Did hear that.
I did hear that too. Yeah, which
that
would be self-explanatory, but whatever. I don't know.
It might be, but my point is I think it just puts a quell to all of the hoorah, the criticisms, this, that, and the other that the outside world has been chirping, that inside that locker room, it has remained a tight unit, and it's finally shown and paying dividends because we've got somebody who can throw the ball and create an offense.
Yeah, I do think I think a lot of that talk was overblown a little bit. Obviously, there's guys in that locker room who are leaders who are getting fed up with some of the things that were happening. But again, a lot of these younger guys, they don't know what it's like to lose, to struggle like this.
Yeah,
because coming from the big college programs, a lot of them have been in, they just didn't lose very often, right? Or they were usually one of the best players in the field, obviously, if they're in the NFL.
Right.
I think it's harder and harder.
They came from, right?
Right. It is harder and harder for especially SEC guys like the Georgia guys we've drafted, and even Najee from Alabama. All those guys don't really know what it's like to lose because even in high school, obviously, usually they were on state title teams or whatever. Right. A lot of these guys. So
and they've been coddled. They've been coddled since then.
Yeah,
right?
Compared to what some of maybe the other guys are used to that are the veterans on the team, right? And that's something that you have to work through. But when you start to win, when you start to score more than 10 points, they tend to feel a little bit better, right? It's a little bit easier to get them to buy into stuff.
Yep.
So
my point to all that is I want to say thank you, Kenny, because you're just about as much of a key to this victory as everybody else. Because without Rudolph being all warm and fuzzy, he may not have been able to throw that 71-yard touchdown to Deontay. That was a true team effort.
Yeah, it was.
That was a good play. That was a good play.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, guys, what's the final thoughts? Because the more we talk, the more we're going to talk about Thursday, and I want to save something for
Yeah,
Thursday.
I got to save some stuff.
Oh, we
So
definitely
that
will.
way, because
Definitely
I
will.
want that girl from New York to show back up on Thursday.
Oh, she will. Kelly will be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting for them too. So good for them. It wasn't looking too good for the Bills early on. They were kind of sliding there, and I thought, well, okay, one of the NFL's golden boys here isn't doing so good, but they managed to put it out. Yeah, there she said she'll be there. All right,
All right,
we'll
sounds
see you
good.
then. Definitely. So yeah, man. To put a stamp on this game, it was great to sweep them again. It's been since 2020. How many? What's our record with the Ravens?
It's like 7-1, right? Aren't we? Like,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah,
lost like one
so-
game, and I forget which game that was. But
So
yeah, it's
screw them. Well, we went 5-1 in division. So
Yep.
who can say that in the division?
in the best division in football. In the first, I know it's 17 games now, makes it easier to do this, but the first one in a very long time, at least I think pre-merger is the last time this happened, where everyone in the division won at least, was a winning record in the division. So
All right. Right. That's pretty cool too.
it is
I
cool.
think I see that was like 1935 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I know it happened like way long ago, but it's been a long time since it actually
I
happened.
wasn't even a sparkle in my daddy's eye back then.
No.
Right. Yeah. So cool stuff. I mean, there's a lot of pride in the AFC North. I know we all obviously hate the other teams to a certain degree, but there's a lot of pride in how good the division is and how tough it is, and definitely makes it tough on other teams trying to come play us in the playoffs. So.
Well, they have to be a little concerned. I mean, the Steelers are playing hot. They're playing like we thought they were capable of playing all year long with the talent that they had. And we got one of those talents missing coming up in this game, but yeah, like you said, Shane, I think they're prepared for that. But as far as the Ravens go and the season goes, wrap up, I thought, for as shitty of a job as Tomlin did in the middle of the season, finally made the right move, brought the right guy in, and they always say sometimes you just need just like in hockey. Sometimes even the goal, you just got to pull the goal. You put a spark in there. You got to get a spark. Got to change something.
Mm-hmm.
To keep expecting something different to happen by doing the same things over and over, it just doesn't work that way. So kudos to them for pulling that out, and I'll give him that. Anyhow, now let's see what happens this week. If we win a playoff game, then I think we could brag. Yeah. Then I could think we could say we had if this was a good year. Let's just win a playoff game. We backed in. Let's win one. Steelers Freak thinks we can pull one out. That's how you finish. That's right. TA is non-Italian Army. Yeah. Daniel says keep it rolling. So yeah. All right. What's your stick a fork in it, TA? In the Ravens, the rat birds.
My stick a fork in it is, we came out, we did what we needed to do. We did not play down to our opponent. We're now in the playoffs. Everybody's giddy in Pittsburgh. Everybody's excited again. But let's keep this in perspective. Let's not be that high school boy on prom night who gets his lap rubbed for the first time and blows his load before he even gets to pull down his zipper. Let's make sure we concentrate and fully commit to what needs to happen this weekend.
Couldn't have said it better myself. There.
Only TA can make that reach right there. Only TA can do that.
And make enough sense, right? That's the thing. just enough. That works for me. No,
yeah, we got to get a rub and tug in there somewhere.
Somehow, some way. No. My overall, like, just to sum it up, the season a little bit and also this game. Like, obviously, like you said, TA, we pull it out. We don't blow a game that we definitely should win. We take care of that. And I think the big key decisions, right, is kind of what I'm thinking about down the stretch. Is the decision to fire Cannon in the first place, and the decision to, whenever your backs were against the wall, to have the guts to bench the guy you're paying a lot of money to not be good, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, like they let him have his chance, and I understand it to a certain degree, but wasn't working out. They go to Mason. He plays better than he's ever played for us in his career so far, and it's going to try to have to ride him through another playoff game, right? Try to see if we can get that win. And I think you're right, JT. If you win this game, if you win a playoff game on the road as a 7th seed against the Bills, obviously you want. Yeah, exactly.
JD.
Too bad we're not playing in Cleveland now. No, but if you can win this game, even if you end up losing the next game or whatever it ends up being or whatever happens, I think that you can build off this. You have a lot of confidence going into next year.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, I think they will, because the turnaround at the end of the season was important for this team, obviously, too. So, I think at this point, he's got to ride it out, see what happens, and hope for the best.
Yeah, agree. Well, let's take a dip into how we did on our predictions. And Mark's got another comment. They say, thanks, mate. It's going to head to Bubba's stream to yell, "Go Steelers." Yeah.
There you go.
Don't forget, hey, guys, feel free to jump over at Bubba's, the Triple B Experience podcast. He's always doing Steelers and pop culture and a bunch of different things. So go support Bubba. And we'll try to jump on there as well. So predictions: Freight Train not here, but he nailed it 17-10. Me not so close. Yeah, me not so close. 27-24. Steelers saying Boz kicked the winning in the last minutes of the game. It was never that close. So I'm glad to overshoot that one. TA 30-16. Well, we were on a 30 burger roll there, brother. So you never know. Probably the weather had something to do with that, I'm guessing. And then Shane 28-14. So,
and I was just proud to see him come out and throw the ball at the beginning of that game. They set the tone early. Yeah, they set the tone early. So, hey, don't worry. We still got a few more weeks to go of this.
If anybody could hold on to the ball, we might have been able to score 30 points. It depends.
Yeah, right.
It just was one of those games. I didn't take that in as much consideration as I probably should have, but I'll still take the win.
Yeah, the old greased pig first quarter, first possession ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, almost got us on that one.
Almost.
But, all right, well, let's move into our bright spot of the game. Offense or defense, doesn't matter. You pick. Let's go. Shane, man, you're up first.
Well, I think you guys probably would do it for me. If not, but I'll just go ahead and give it to him since we might not see him the rest of the year. Got to give TJ a lot of credit for getting the 2 sacks, making some big plays, and claiming his 3rd sack title, right? That's huge for him. Unfortunately, from everything I've seen and everything that I know about as far as this year, I don't think it's going to mean anything for him as far as Defensive Player of the Year or anything like that, but he had a season that exactly like you'd expect him to after a rough season last year with injuries, and you're happy to see that. Hopefully we do see him again this year, right? Hopefully we win that this week, and maybe we'll be able to see him after that, but at least we know that going into next year he should be rearing ready to go again. So,
well, TA got me up next, so I'm gonna take a page out of your book, and I'm gonna give my bright spot to the offensive line for keeping Mason from getting hurt and getting killed, and for creating lots of holes for this running game. And Najee, of course, a honorable mention in that.
And I myself, guys, I'm going Mike Tomlin.
All
Fantastic job that he has done over the course of the last 6 weeks. Up, down, whatever it may be, kudos to Mike Tomlin for turning out the noise, staying the path, and getting us here to where we can talk about what we love, Steelers football. Thanks,
Amen.
Mike.
Still got some voodoo magic left in him, guys.
Yes, he does.
We'll see how much more, but he definitely still got some in him. So,
Amen. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to getting back together with you guys Thursday night. We could do our Bills, our wild card playoff week, Thursday night show. So I'm looking forward to that too. We might have a special guest His
Hopefully.
time of the year. Yep, Daniel. Want to thank our guests on the outside texters tonight. Daniel, Steelers Freak, Mark, Steelers Nation Australia, Daredevil, Todd Babco, Daniel Harris, TA's non-Italian Army, Kelly Snow from up in Buffalo, dropping in. Who did I miss? Jeremiah, obviously, Steelers Freak. We got them all. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Gentlemen, have a good couple days. Get ready to jump back into the rest of this game here, too. Looks like Michigan's running away with it. I haven't updated since we've been chatting. But anyhow, have a great couple days, man. We'll see you Thursday night. Careful in the hot tub. Steeler Nation, we're out of here. Boys, say goodnight, John Boy.
All right, John Boy.
See you guys.
Smell you later.
Check back next week into the Steelers realm.